Pakistani province bans TikTokers from park after hundreds assault women. On August 22nd, the Parks and Horticulture Authority, or PHA, of the Punjab province in Pakistan announced that TikTokers are banned from entering public parks. The incident sparking the ban happened during Pakistan's Independence Day on August 14th. According to the unnamed TikToker, close to 400 people attacked her and her 6 companions. She explained that they were shooting videos to share on TikTok when the crowd began gathering around them. On the first information report, or FIR, filed at the police station in Lori Ada, the TikToker claimed that she was passed around and thrown into the air multiple times. The attack was so severe that she was nearly stripped naked and even had jewelry stolen. The woman added that her companion's phone was also stolen. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has not played a very active role in protecting women's rights. In an interview with Axios, Khan commented on the accusations that he engages in victim blaming, calling it, quote, nonsense. He also supported the social implementation of purdah, or the segregation or covering of women, as the proper solution to sexual immorality. Khan added that wearing, quote, very few clothes will have an effect on men. So this is one of those stories that isn't directly religious, but this is just one of the craziest stories I heard this week. And I wanted to cover it. And then to give context, that's why I was talking about the comments of Imran Khan, just to kind of like put this in a broader perspective. And then we can kind of debate how much of this is religious, just to kind of frame this segment. So this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. The footage from this incident is so disturbing. Imagine 6 young women all separated from each other, literally being attacked by 400 men.
Wow, that sounds like a nightmare.
Terrifying. The video footage of this is so scary. Like, the clothing is literally being like ripped off of their bodies. They're being tossed around like they're just like a hot cake. Like, it's so traumatizing to watch. It's so scary. And it's not even clear like what originally started this. They were just like young kids in the park wanting to make a video for TikTok to celebrate their freaking country's Independence Day. Like, that's the occasion for this. And it was just like, it's like, I don't know. I've been in like mob situations before, at protests and stuff. And it's hard to explain the feeling in the air when there's just like something primal going on. It's just like you kind of feel everyone's like monkey brain kind of react, and people are just like, they lose themselves in watching the footage.
Be careful with the word, because you two might think we're saying something that we're not. Don't use the word like.
I say this about any specific group of people. I'm trying to talk about this innate capacity we all have as humans, just to clarify.
Yeah, but YouTube's algorithm is dumb, so I might think we're saying something else. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So, yeah, people know that I'm not really saying that about any ethnicity or anything. I'm talking about all people.
Right.
Have just. It's so hard to describe in a way that I can say on YouTube. Like, it's so frightening to watch. It's just like everyone just like lost their mind. And I wanted to highlight this story because of how serious this is. And as whenever they would try to escape or go away, like, it just kept on getting bigger and bigger, and more people were after them. It was, oh my gosh. And there's been a lot of social fallout from this, because obviously this is an extremely startling incident to happen. And we can cover some of the commentary that's happened after, since we published the story, like Imran Khan commented on it and stuff. But Armin, what's your reaction to this news?
Well, I mean, all of this is on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how come, like, are the people who were doing this Are they arrested?
I believe a few people have been arrested so far. Several have been identified. Let me double check really quickly.
The video, because these people were doing this knowing that this is being recorded. Like, I don't think people understand the level of sexual frustration that exists in a country like Pakistan. Like, these people are desperate. These people are like, they will be risking their lives for half a second of feeling a woman's body on their hand, even if it might mean that they're going to go to jail for it for a very long time. Or like, these are like, they feel, I think they needed more than oxygen, like right now. Like, this is their minds have been broken because of the way, again, nothing innate or anything, like the way society functions, the mix of Islam and culture and so many other things has like, and this is like, I'm assuming that more stuff like this is going to continue happening in Pakistan and some other countries as well. Like, the level of frustration is so, like, these people are dangerous. Like, this is not as, like, Pakistan is not a safe place for women, right? Like, it's, yeah. And by the way, I don't understand this. What they like, when they say they ban TikTokers, are they talking about banning the woman from going to the park?
It's not just TikTokers, like it's also YouTubers, like social media influencers. Like, you're literally not allowed to go to the park to film stuff for social media right now unless you get prior approval by the parks department, essentially, in this whole province. That was the way that I interpreted the news that I read.
Okay, the people who did this, they knew that there was cameras everywhere, right? And
presumably, I mean, nowadays there are cameras everywhere you go.
No, but this was an event with TikTokers. Like, you would assume that everybody's like, you can see people on their phone recording stuff, and they still did all of this.
I mean, because there's hundreds of them, hundreds. Just to answer your question, there's one report that said that 66 have been arrested, and also there was a report by GOTV less than 24 hours ago that says that the identity parade, where they bring people through to identify people, has been delayed because the victim is like, she couldn't even go to the jail because she's just in such like ill health and like shock and trauma because of this incident.
I really hope every single person that did this gets caught. Like, they're on camera. People have high definition cameras in their phones, and all of this was being recorded. I hope they get every single one of them. This is such a nightmare. Like, I can't even imagine what you're going through, like, and being in the middle of a mob and they're all attacking you. Like, I can't even imagine what that feels like. And there's nobody that can do anything.
Yeah, if you're like, the footage, it's pretty easy to find if you just search like Minar-e-Pakistan like incident, it comes up right away. Like, it's so scary. I can't, as a woman, I can't imagine like anything like this happening. It's so scary. But since we published this news, there's been some reactions and commentary in the Pakistani public or public figures that I think would be interesting for us to unpack. So can you go to those Instagram posts that I sent you earlier?
Oh yeah. Hold on.
Then I think it'd be interesting to talk about, like, this story isn't directly religiously related, but we can like talk about the influence of that here. So I follow the Tribune PK on Instagram. It's like a Pakistani news source, and it seems pretty conservative to me just based on the comments that they get, which the comment section of this newspaper consistently terrify me. So they posted about this quote on the incident from the Prime Minister, saying, quote, I traveled across the world, and while traveling, I observed that Pakistanis respect women more than the Western world. Today, the downfall we are witnessing is because children are not being educated in the right manner. And they included the caption, yesterday, Prime Minister Imran Khan spoke up about the awful episode that was taken place on August 14th in Manar-e, Pakistan, where a girl was mercilessly assaulted, molested, and groped by a throng of sexual predators. Imran Khan expressed his trauma while recalling the incident and said that I was ashamed and pained to see it because it was a source of humiliation and embarrassment for Pakistan. While talking about the shameful act of the crowd on Independence Day, he said it is not our culture nor part of our religion. He also blamed the negative usage and exposure of smartphones as the reason behind the ethical bankruptcy of the nation and the rampant of sexual crimes because of the exposure of phones, which humankind has been witnessing today, was never possible a decade ago.
Just blame everything under the sun except the things that are actually the reasons why this is happening. Unbelievable. It's actually this thing that you mentioned that are not the problem. Those are exactly the problem. And that's why you are going to those, because you know what people are actually blaming, and rightfully so, like the culture and the religion. Those are, I mean, your culture is your religion. We're talking Pakistan. But those are the things that you need to be blaming. Unbelievable. The phones are the reason why we know that this has happened. The phones are the reason why some people are going to be held accountable. Like, this is why Pakistan is not going to improve. Because for things to improve, you have to actually first detect what the source of the problem is, right? If you keep ignoring the source of the problem, things are not going to get better.
I found another quote where he comments on this, and he says, it's very necessary to educate our children in right manner, and there's only one way to do that. Make them aware of the life of the Prophet Hazrat Muhammad, saying, while talking about the ethical and moral bankruptcy of our nation and the rampant increase of sexual crimes, he blamed this on the improper and incompatible raising of children. He reminded, when I was growing up, no one could have thought that acts like this would happen in Pakistan. I have been to the entire world. The respect for women I saw while growing up existed in Muslim countries, but not in the West. Big reason for the devastation we're seeing is that our children are not being brought up properly. So he's basically like saying that children are being influenced by the West to act this way, which is insane.
Insane. Well, then why is this happening more in your country than other places? God damn it, man.
And why is it happening increasingly more as your country gets increasingly Islamized?
Yeah.
And then here is a comment from, I believe she's an actress named Alize Shah. She said, quote, what happened in Lahore is just another example of how unsafe women are in Pakistan. We are not safe inside our homes, not out in the street. We are neither safe nor free. And then so the caption is, quote, women are not safe in Pakistan is what you heard frequently from showbiz stars, notable figures of different sections of society, whenever a woman is harassed, molested, assaulted, raped, groped, or barred from women's rights. The same thing has been said by drama actress Alize Shah, who thinks women are neither safe nor free in Pakistan. And then they include her quote. And then they continue, should we blame Pakistan for every wrongdoing of its citizens, or should we blame the system and those who are the beneficiaries of the system? And then if you scroll down, the comment section is just a freaking nightmare.
The system is Pakistan. What is Pakistan other than the systems that make Pakistan? Like, should we blame Pakistan or the systems? What is Pakistan? Like, it's the systems of which make the country how it runs. Like, that is like, you're talking about the same thing. I just before I go to the comments, I just want to say that I tend to notice a lot of people think like they're loving the country more when they actually don't blame the culture or don't blame the country or don't try to like associate things that are wrong with policies or the culture. They are on this PR campaign to make their country look good and try to save face internationally by not blaming anything that is, might be India or Pakistan or I don't know, Iran, people who want to be like nationalists are like, oh, or love their countries in some way. They're like, oh, it's not, no, these are not the problems. The problem is from outside. It's from foreign countries. It's because of this and this and this. And we blame everything other than the culture or anything that has to do with our country. Okay. But the interesting thing is that that's the thing you need to do if you hate your country. Okay. Because if you actually love your country, you want to find the problems and fix them. Like, it's amazing that the people who seem to be acting like they're the greatest lovers of their country seem to be at the front line at making sure that the problems with their country does not actually get fixed. Yeah.
That reminds me of something Vosh says. He's like, you know what made America great? Whiny bitches like me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, true.
Yeah, the people who are complaining, they are actually the people who are good for your country. They are the ones who are actually going to make your country better because they're complaining. Complaining is the source of actually addressing the problems that your country have. The people are like, nothing to see here. Everything is good. All our problems coming from other places. Those are the people who are going to keep your country behind. Which comments?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have to read the comments because most of them aren't in English, but the ones that I could understand in English are basically like all telling her, like, just leave then. What are you doing here? Like, all these feminists need to leave. The one comment was like, the solution is simple. Just wear the hijab. Like,
yeah.
Like, everyone, like, all these, like, feminist actors need to get out of here. Like,
so,
like...
You know what they sound like? They sound like the American nationalists who are like, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. Or like, you guys have you even read the history of your country? Everything great about your country is the people who didn't leave, who stayed and complained and protested and made things better. Like, no, like, if everybody who didn't like things left, your country would be horrible.
And also, I saw a video of the woman who I believe was the primary victim of this attack, and like, she was a hijabi. Like, I hate when they use that as an excuse of like how women should be treated or mistreated, when actually women who are following your prescribed notions of purdah or covering yourself, concealing your aura and all this stuff are just as subject to sexual abuse as any other woman, especially considering that all that modesty culture actually is hypersexualizing them. It makes people in general, not even exclusively men, more hyperfixated on the sexuality of women in the slightest aspects of their body, because they're so trained to think that the smallest bit of skin is so temptuous, instead of just like the largest organ of my body,
Right. I do want to say, though, like I usually say, that if it's true, okay, that showing more skin and wearing more revealing clothes makes you, gives you a higher chance of assault, okay, then the response to that is not to cover up. The response to that, you don't negotiate with people with sexual abusers. This is like, you don't give in. You have to be able to wear whatever you want, like, because a lot of people are saying, like, yes, you might have you might have examples of people covering up completely and still getting assaulted. Those are just, but that's anecdotal evidence. It might be true. Again, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it not. It might be true that wearing more revealing clothes, on average, not completely, makes you a higher chance of becoming a target. However, the response to that should not be to give up on your freedoms. The response to that is a country that protects women who want to wear whatever they want. Okay, so please don't go out and say like, no, wearing revealing clothes or covering up has no impact, because it might have an impact. It might be true that covering up lowers your chances of assault, but you shouldn't have to cover up because it lowers, the response should be better security, more punishment for people who are doing the assault, and better culture. That is the response, okay? Even if it's true, that's not, we don't negotiate with sexual abusers. We don't give in, we don't give up our freedoms because they're taking our security away. Anyways.
And for the people who are too upset by what Armin just said to actually listen to what he just said, he used skeptical language like, if that is even true. He did not say that that was true, because I know that there will be some people who watch this and lose their minds.
Yeah, it might be true.
But what else is new?
Yeah, I mean, let them lose their minds. It's fine. Okay, but thank you for that. Oh, Susie, trying to defend me. That's so sweet.
Of course. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, you know, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.